Hi, I'd like to show you how to locate program evaluation articles. When you are asked to provide best practices or use evidence based interventions, this is the way that you find where someone has implemented a program with a certain population and then has evaluated whether or not it's effective and then published those results. So, this is really where you look to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And when people talk about evidence based practice or best practices, this is one way that I'm going to show you to find those. It's going to look very similar to how you find regular research articles. It's a little different in that a program evaluation article is a specific type of research. So if you just do a general search, you're going to come up with all sorts of things where there may be program evaluation articles in there, but most of what you're going to be looking at is straight research, predicting behavior or a study of incidence and prevalence, that sort of thing. That's not what you're looking for when you're looking for program evaluations. So let's dig in. First thing to do is go to Lovejoy Library, and you can find that pretty easily. You're looking for an article or articles, so click that. When that comes up, you need to search through databases because you likely won't have a journal title that you're looking for. So click search list of online databases. The easiest and fastest thing to do in this situation versus kind of going through and picking all of these different databases to look through at once is to just try this academic search complete. You can find it over here under popular databases, or it's also here in this list under A. Once you click on that, you're going to come to something that looks very familiar. You'll see EBSCO is it's sort of like a shell. It's a way of sort of setting up the search. You can search different databases through EBSCO. So this looks familiar. One thing before we start putting in search terms is you're going to come down here. There's a couple things that we need to check in our basic search options. A couple of these will likely look familiar to you and you're used to doing this. One thing is we would like to be able to read the full text of articles. So we're going to limit the results to full text because we don't want to just read the abstract. We want to actually see the article. The other thing is we would like for these to be peer-reviewed journal articles. So we're going to go ahead and click that. Now that does pull out of your search things like that maybe the CDC has published. So you may want to come back in like on a second search and uncheck that. Or you could leave it unchecked and then just go through to see if you're pulling up articles that are peer-reviewed. But for this search, we're going to keep that checked. Then, once we have all that done, we're going to come up to the top. So let's say that we want to search for programs that have been done with students. And we could get very specific if we want to, but on this first search, we're going to stay really broad. Let's say we're really interested in college students, but we're just going to put in students for this first search term. So we want to see what programs have been implemented for students about intimate partner violence. And you'll see as I start to type, you get these nice suggestions down here. So if I want to be a little more broad, let's include intimate partner violence or domestic violence or partner abuse. It's quite a bit broader, so we'll go ahead and include that. Now, in your previous searches, when you're just looking for research, peer-reviewed research articles, you might hit search right away. But because you are looking for program evaluation, you actually need to come down here for another search term and put in program evaluation. You'll see that popped up right there. All right, we should be ready to do a very broad search here. Hit search and see what happens. Okay, we have 26 articles, so that's pretty big. Let's take a look through here. Nurse and midwifery education in intimate partner violence, a scoping review. That does not sound like they've implemented a program and then evaluated it. So we're going to pull that one out, or we're going to kind of ignore that one. Gender and batterer intervention. Okay, that might be something interesting. So we'll kind of make note of that. Go on to number 3, a high school-based evaluation of Take Care, a video bystander program to prevent adolescent relationship violence. Okay, that sounds kind of interesting. Clearly, that's something that's an actual program. It has a title called Take Care. It was implemented in a high school. Now, we are looking at for college students. If we were working with freshmen, potentially that might be something that we would be interested in. So let's make note of it because it looks pretty interesting. Mind Body Bridging Treatment Program for Domestic Violence Offenders, Program Overview and Evaluation Results. We're less interested in treating domestic violence offenders. We're more interested probably in prevention if we're talking about college health populations. So we're just going to kind of go through and keep searching, kind of scan these, see if there's, student health fair, probably not that helpful. Substance abuse and batterer programs in California, maybe not so much. So don't give up, just kind of keep going through and skimming. We're going to look at the next page. Now, this one looks interesting. An experimental evaluation of peer versus professional educators of a bystander program for the prevention of sexual and dating violence among college students. Okay, that looks pretty interesting. That looks like that might fit. So take a look at that, pull down the full text of it, read the abstract, and that potentially could work. Looks like they have implemented a program and they are seeing if peer educators are better than professionals. So, what did they find out? Peer educators have a significantly better effect at reducing some SV and DV supportive attitudes. So, what's SV? What's DV? If we didn't know that, we would keep reading in the article. It's sexual violence and domestic violence. So this looks like this might be a possibility. Okay, so let's say we decide that this is going to be one of the articles that we're going to use. Looks pretty good. I suggest either printing it out or getting at least having a big enough screen where you can read it. Let me give you some tips. So we've located a program evaluation article. Now I'm going to explain to you how to read and how to summarize this. So that's sort of part two, and I'll do that in a separate video.